Right, good morning everyone. The first thing we're going to do is we're going to look at the answers from yesterday's maths. The first thing that we looked at is the smoothie recipe. So it said a smoothie uses 3 times as many strawberries than raspberries in terms of the mass or the weight of that particular smoothie. So 3 strawberries to 1 raspberry. We can show this in a bar model with a block of 3 strawberries and a block for 1 raspberry. We know that 3 plus 1 equals 4. So that's essentially the ratio. For every 4 grams or for every 4 kilograms of this smoothie, or litres of this smoothie or millilitres of this smoothie, 3 parts are going to be strawberry and 1 part is going to be raspberry. We now had to answer the question, I think it was question A or question 1, how many millilitres would be strawberries if there was 400 millilitres in total. So what we do is we look at this number compared to this number. We know that for every sort of equal little ratio, there's 3 strawberries to 1 raspberry, so that's 4. We've now got 400. So what do I have to multiply 4 by in order to get to 400? You can probably work that out yourselves, but we could work it out using the inverse. 400 divided by 4 is going to be 100. So what I really want to do is times each of these by 100 and I will get my answer. So in terms of the strawberries, there will be 300 millilitres of strawberry and there will be 100 millilitres of raspberry, which will equal the 400 millilitres. There was a second question, which was a little bit trickier with the numbers, but the maths is exactly the same. We know our ratio is 3 strawberries and 1 raspberry, so it's 3 and 1. And that's going to equal 4 parts every single time. Now we said, okay, what if there were 840 millilitres? So again, we need to find what we multiply these things by. All right, so the way we do that is, what do I multiply 4 by in order to get to 840? Well, we can work that out with the inverse. 840 divided by 4. 4 into 8 goes 2, 4 into 4 goes 1, 4 into 0 goes 0. That's my number. This is my multiplier here. So, it's quite simple for the raspberry. 1 times 210. I don't really need to do anything other than put 210 there. For the strawberries, 3 times 210, if I'm not sure, I could just work it out using the column method. So 3 times 0 is 0, 3 times 1 is 3, 3 times 2 is 6. So then I've got 630 mils of strawberry, 210 of raspberry. If I add them together just to check, lo and behold, I've got 840 millilitres, which is exactly what I wanted. That was your sort of principal thing. There was an extension, flapjack extension. So the idea was you had a flapjack recipe, but Amir had 180 grams of butter, but the recipe only called for 120. The recipe made 10 flapjacks. What Amir, hopefully you will have seen that Amir could make 1.5 times the amount of the recipe. So it's all about multiplying by 1.5 or timesing something by 1.5. So in terms of how many flapjacks can he make, that would be it's 15 flapjacks. And what are the value of each of the other ingredients he needs? I'm just going to be timesing everything by 1.5. So we know he had 180 grams of butter. He would have to have 150 grams of brown sugar. He would have to have 6 tablespoons of golden syrup. I'll just put GS. He would have to have, just doing this one in my head, 375 grams of oats, and he would have to have 60 grams of sultanas. So that was the little extension. I'm going to pause now. We're going to go on to Maths of Today, which is in a slightly different format. So you'll see a bit of... Right, before we get started into maths, I'm just going to show you a sort of slight explainer page that I've put up on the blog. It's called Home Learning During Shutdown. What it will show you is just that essentially what I'm pointing you to by this page is the home learning topics on the right hand side here. You can see it goes from art, DT, English, etc., all the way down. What each of these are, when we put new things onto the blog, they just go onto the home page. That's how our blog is set up to work. So if any of the teachers, you can see me scrolling through, you see Joe Wicks there, you see me there doing some jumping around, and the homework that Miss Kelly put up. They will come up as and when we post things up on the blog. However, it can get confusing, so we've set up this sidebar. So if you just want to see handwriting, then you can look, and only the handwriting sections will come up on your blog. So hopefully that will just keep things a little bit neater for you. Obviously, just something to flag up. We do want you to have a go at any activities, but we don't want you to get worried or stressed about maybe not getting activities done. Why not prioritize, let's say, maths, English, and the things you find really interesting? That might be a good way to go. But definitely prioritize staying safe and staying happy in this pretty tricky time. Anyway, now for maths. So we're going to do something slightly different today. We're going to go to this website, whiterosemaths.com. I want you guys to access that. I'll put a link beneath this video. What we're going to do is we're going to have a look at this lesson 1 on using ratio language. That really means describing the ratios and the sort of interrelationships between two things. Things like for every 2 bananas there is 1 apple, and the short video just explains what they mean by that. Here we can see for every 2 bananas there is 1 apple. That's the picture that sort of tells that story the best. So I want you to have a little look at that. It's only a 3-minute video. Then I'd like you to have a go at this activity. It is a 2-page set of questions, and there are 9 questions on there. You don't need to print it out. If you do have access to a printer and printer ink, then feel free to. However, you genuinely don't need to. You could just work from the website and just take a look at them. What you'll do is just complete the sentences. For every 3 sheep there are how many cows? So we've got 1, 2, 3 sheep, and then you can count the cows and you'd put the number of cows in there. That would be the way that you would do it if you were printing it out. However, you could just write down the answer to number 1 on a bit of paper in your book, and that will be absolutely fine. Once you've had a go at that, see if you can have a go at all 9 questions. It should not take you too long. It should be designed to be about 10 or 15 minutes worth of work after you've watched the video. Then you do have your answers here. I'm not going to click on them, and I'm also going to ask you not to click on them before you've had a go at the activity. However, when you have had a go, you can check the answers. The most important thing to do is, if you get any of them wrong, have a look at the answer, have a look at the correct answer, and then work back at the problem to see where you've gone wrong, and hopefully that will help going forward so that you can see the correct answer and then you can work it through and realise why that is correct. Hope you have fun with that, and I will post up another session tomorrow. Thanks.